Hello there, General Techno here with a very special TFcon video review. A first look at the TFcon exclusive Nightbird. Now then, as you can see, Nightbird, it's a really small box, just to put it in perspective. Here's my hand next to it, so like this thing is tiny in the box. Anyway, if I take it out, there's a few things in here. There's a bag here with a bunch of accessories and guns and some clips from the looks of it. There's an instruction manual right here. And it looks okay. It's the classic drawn style, a bit low resolution images on the instructions, but, and then of course there's Nightbird proper, who has a couple of sais and a sword right here. Anyway, let's take her Nightbird out of the package. Vehicle mode is, again, it's the Impossible Toys RC. It's pretty small. The colors are really good on this thing. Just looking at it here, you can't see it in here, but it does roll pretty well. Looking at the actual paint job, I can see the paint job looks pretty clean overall. There's a bit of, back here, you can see a bit of black going over there. There's some visible brush marks on the pauldrons here. And looking at it on the underside looks pretty good. Like, it's not nearly as bad as the RC that Pascal reviewed on Cybertron.ca. But anyway, it looks pretty good from here. Aside from, like, there's some visible brush marks and stuff, but it looks like it's pretty thick. Anyway, let's try transforming this sucker here. I'm going to start by pulling out the legs. Again, I probably should be using the instructions for this, but that would take a bit longer to do. So I'm going to start by pulling these legs out if I can, or rather, I'm going to fold down this bit here. And as for the legs, well, I'm making myself look like an idiot as I film this live, but maybe I won't edit this out. Okay, yeah. So I've got the legs out here. Legs fold out like this. The arms come out to the sides. This piece goes down here for the chest plate. Let's see, the legs go down like so. Straighten them out. Another thing I'd read some complaints about too is loose feet on Cybertron.ca, but this is not the case on mine. Mine, the feet are really tight and they look good. But you can bring the legs down a bit more like this to give it better proportions. As for the arms swing down and around. And this whole top assembly here is going to fold down and in like this, down and in like this, and this is going to snap down and into place. And then we're going to fold the arms in order to lock it. Well, if there's an initial complaint I have to this, it's that it doesn't really lock all that well, the upper body. I mean, it holds together okay via friction, but I mean, it's not really a solid lock. I mean, unless I need to press harder, but it doesn't really tap in super well. As for the arms, I'd heard complaints of cracking. The arms are a bit loose. Like, I mean, like they probably could be screwed in a bit tighter, but there's no real cracking or anything. If anything, the arms are just a bit loose and need to be tightened. But they look fairly posable, looking at this. And actual paint apps on the head look pretty good as well. So here's Nightbird in robot mode, just to pull her back a bit. There's from the side, from the back. Nightbird in this mode looks really good. The paint apps are pretty clean. And I'll just do a close-up on the head, even though this camera's not very good at zooming close, but the head looks pretty good as well. I mean, the paint apps are pretty good for what it is. One thing that people who are comparing this to City Commander need to keep in mind when it comes to that figure is that City Commander doesn't have a lot of paint. There's not nearly as much detail as what City Commander has. Like, this thing has much smaller paint apps, and it's a smaller figure, and a third party, so you do need to give it a bit of leeway. And looking here, I do see a bit of black paint coming off here, but again, it's no big deal at all. Just putting it on the table, the figure stands pretty well. The figure stands alright, no real loose joints. It's got joints at the knees, it's got joints at the feet here, it's got the hips are very posable, and it's got arm posability. The head can look up and down, but it doesn't appear to be able to turn side to side. It looks like that might be jointed, but it doesn't feel like it moves. As for the weapons, looking at these weapons here, she has her size. I'm just going to pull one out now. But she's got these little size here, and I guess that's what the clips are for in that little bag that I showed earlier. It's the same arms as on the RC. It's just that this little bag has tiny little clips in here that you can clip onto her forearms, and then you can clip the size into the little hole. I'll take some pics of this later, but I'm not going to really do that for now because it's going to be pizza time pretty soon. But anyway, yeah, as I said, if I've got a complaint about the robot mode, it's that the chest doesn't really seem to peg down properly, unless I'm doing it wrong. But it doesn't tab in well at all. It'll be fine for if you're just going to display this. As a display piece, though, this Nightbird is a pretty neat exclusive. It's going to look good on a shelf with all of its weapons. Now, it should look really nice next to G1 figures. And the head sculpt is very, very well done indeed. And I guess that's about all and also, just again for the packaging is very well done. Very G1 style. It has art by Banksta on it. And that's about all I've got to say about this right now. I'm going to be selling a couple of these as well, but that'll something to talk about later. But until now, this is General Techno signing off.